days around.
Hello and welcome to the Tottenham America channel. Today we will be reacting to Tottenham's horrific 1-0 loss to Wolverhampton Wanderers, as a win here for Spurs would have seen them go 7 points above 5th place Newcastle with 2 games over them, meaning that they would be in 4th even if Newcastle had won both of those 2 games in hand. The sole goal of the game came in the 82nd minute, but for most Spurs fans, it was a story of missed opportunities in the first half, before Wolves took the second half by the hands, made 4 subs, and eventually won the game with an 82nd minute Adama Traore winner, one of the substitutes that Julian Lopetegui brought on. Jimenez drilled the ball with speed at Forster, who blocked it away, making a good save. He wasn't able to avert the danger, however, and Traore was able to take it on the half volley and swing it under the crossbar, into the top corner, and into the back of the net. And Wolves took the lead very late on. But Tottenham were really poor in the second half.
Yeah, we just completely lacked intensity in the second half. Completely a mirrored performance of our first half. Really, no one was at fault for this game today.
The first half, no one.
No one was at fault for the result. It was kind of the whole team just lacking intensity, really, in the second half.
Yeah,
our defense was actually really good in the first half, and most of the second half were good. That one opportunity we let Wolves slip in, they scored, though.
This was a game that was almost 100% on management today. First, with starting Perisic and Son on the same side. And then the biggest problem I think that angered most Spurs fans were the changes, because if you look at Wolves' list, they made of course they had to make a forced change in the 28th minute after Diego Costa had an injury, but they made 2 changes at halftime because they saw that they needed to change things, that Tottenham were controlling the pitch, so they knew they needed to change things. Lopetegui brings on Collins and Traore to change the game up. It works. And then in the 67th minute, probably the biggest impact on the game was from Joao Moutinho, who came in midfield to replace Sarabia, and Cunha also came on in the 67th minute. Those 2 were the changes that really made the impact and swung the game in Wolves' favor, and kind of ended it for Spurs, because Spurs' changes were really bad today.
Yeah, Lucas Moura coming on, a man who probably hasn't played 90 minutes, like before Sheffield United, hasn't played 90 minutes in like a long time. And you're bringing him on for Dejan Kulusevski instead of Dan Juma, who could have come on, or Richarlison. Richarlison did come on later in the match for Ben Davies, which I thought was really a really poor decision. Ben Davies was pretty good this game. I would expect Perisic to come off, because Perisic was good attacking-wise, pretty bad defensively, like he always is.
He was okay in the start, attacking-wise, but he had a 20% cross success rate. It was 2 out of 10 crosses actually went and found a Spurs man. So it's not like he was great today, and he's just really been on a downward trend ever since, like, let's even say January, I think. After we came back from the World Cup, he's been on a big downward trend. And I think Perisic he's just not good enough. But the worst part was when we had a free kick on the edge of the area, and this was about 3 minutes, on the other side of halftime, after Pedro Porro had hit the crossbar from a free kick at a similar area. Harry Kane says to Pedro Porro, "Let me take it," and unsurprisingly hits it straight into the wall, and Tottenham squander a huge chance to go in front. And that was the most shocking part of today's game from Harry Kane, in my opinion.
Yeah, Pedro Porro hit the crossbar from the first free kick he's taken as a Spurs player. Hit the crossbar. That's better than any of our Spurs players have done ever since Son scored that free kick against Watford last season.
Which wasn't even a real free kick.
Yeah.
So you'd have to go back to Christian Eriksen versus Norwich to see the last free kick that we scored where there was a wall.
Versus Everton.
Norwich. No, Norwich, 1920 season. Everton was 2018-19 season. 1920 season when we were in that dark blue under Jose. Christian Eriksen. I think that was also his last goal for Spurs. A late free kick to give us a 2-2 draw. Harry Kane, I think, also scored a penalty that game. But that was the last time we scored a free kick, and not surprisingly, because we don't have any free kick takers, and so that means it falls on Kane or Son. Son is not great, but the problem is that Kane usually takes it over Son.
Yeah, Son could be good at it. Son is definitely way better at swinging in deliveries for Spurs players to get their head on, But we have Pedro Porro now. We have a good free kick taker, and we saw it today. He hit the crossbar. Don't know why Kane wanted to take the second one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why Kane's been taking free kicks for like years now.
In fairness, he was really the only option we ever had in the last couple. What I don't get is like today. Today is the first instance that I really just don't know why Pedro Porro just didn't take the free kick.
Yeah.
He is so much better. But there's so many problems at Spurs right now. So many issues. And it's just kind of embarrassing, really, to a point, to see the form that we've been in. If you look at our last games, we lost 4-1 to Leicester. They're a team who were in relegation form recently. We dropped one to Milan, who were literally playing like their backup goalkeeper and like a very second-hand team. We won against West Ham and Chelsea, and I think those were very fluke wins in my opinion. But also because we made changes well, we started a good team, and the players were on form. Mainly Harry Kane was on form.
I think it's because the main difference was Ben Davies at left wing back and Emerson.
I think that's the biggest difference.
I think Emerson would make a difference, but if I think we would have been fine if he had Pedro Porro and Kuti behind him. Because we saw today, this is the only how Pedro Porro is going to do well at right wing back. He has to have a good defender behind him. He has to have Kuti behind him. That's why he didn't do well in his first two games at Sheffield and at Sheffield he was all right, but he was not good at Leicester City because who did he have behind him? Not Kuti because he was suspended.
Davinson Sanchez.
Yes, Davinson Sanchez.
After those two fluke wins, we had Sheffield United that we lost to. And really, today, we showed more emphasis to attack in the first 5 minutes against Wolves than we did at any point in the 90 minutes against Sheffield United. But this problem at Spurs goes a lot farther than just the players. It's not just Sanchez, Dyer, and Davies. Because today, Sanchez and Dyer didn't start, and Davies was playing on the left. We had Romero in, we had Pedro Porro in, we had Kulusevski in, we had Kane in, we had Højbjerg and Skip in. We had most of our starting players, bar Perisic and bar Pedro Porro. And we still failed to do anything impactful, which is the biggest indication for me that this problem is on the coaches.
Yeah,
because
Stellini too today.
Both of them.
Both Stellini and Conte. I've seen him more on Conte in the past as he's been here, but Stellini now too. He's not making the changes that we need for impact. That's why we didn't win this game. If we would have brought on subs earlier, then Wolves may have never gotten their equalizer, and we could have scored before them.
Now, of course, Stellini and Conte, it's a shared identity across the whole coaching team. It's not like Stellini's going to bring out a whole new coaching phase. But so I think it's like an equal blame across the coaching staff, and that's why I think it might be time to say goodbye to Conte. Because
I would love to see Poch back in.
Poch, there's not many options other than Poch.
Yeah.
That's the problem, because right now you're either going to get Ryan Mason till the end of the season as caretaker. You're going to get Pochettino in, who's a free agent. He's probably, if we're going to sack Conte, he's going to be the one to come in. I don't know who else.
I wouldn't mind Poch being back in.
Or you wait till the summer and then you bring in like someone like De Zerbi or someone. But I really don't see even De Zerbi leaving Brighton, because Brighton have been pretty good this season. They're in 8th place. They have less losses than us, which is pretty embarrassing as a top 6 team. We actually have 6 more losses than Newcastle, 6 more losses than Arsenal, and the next team to have the same amount of losses as us are in 10th place, and that is Chelsea with 9 wins, 7 draws, and 9 losses, equaling to our 14 wins, 3 draws, and 9 losses. So this is a problem that Spurs have had for way too long. It's been going on since probably mid-Pochettino era, even earlier than that. Really, the whole Levy era has just been brought down by inconsistency, a lack of investment in the squad, starting in that 2017-18 transfer window. And now it's coming to the point where there's just not a cohesion between the players and the manager. And so the coaching staff today, I think, is more on the coaching staff and less on Levy. It's not about the financial. It's not about, getting players out and in, because we had most of our top players in.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that's going to happen with Levy is just going to be decided this summer. Mm-hmm. Is he going to bring more defensive players in that we need, like Hincapi, that we need in our defense, or is he not? Is he going to invest in the wrong areas like he tends to do?
Yeah, but Conte, this one's all on Conte. I don't think blame can really be put heavily on Levy, because we started most of our top-tier players, and we had options on the bench. We had Richarlison, we had Emerson Royale, we had Danjuma, And
Well,
yet
it doesn't go on Conte. It goes on Stellini.
it goes on both of them because
both of them.
they share the identity.
Yeah, they do, but they didn't make the changes.
Let's be honest.
needed.
Conte would have made the same changes.
Yeah, he would have.
I think there's some communication that goes on between Stellini and Conte, or one of the coaching members that's present and Conte. There's some kind of conversation that goes on because it's not like they're gonna just Stellini is gonna manage the same way as Conte.
Yeah. We all know that Stellini is not as stubborn as Conte. What would happen if Stellini had his way with the team and he was head coach? He did not.
He would
have
not
Conte.
do that. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I don't think he has the right licenses, and he's gonna stay as Conte's assistant. I don't think there's gonna be a point where he's just gonna say bin off Conte and just go on his own. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting couple of weeks at Spurs in the next few weeks. The first big decision I'm gonna be looking out for is whether Conte is sacked in the upcoming future or not. Is he gonna be sacked before Milan?
I
Doubt.
don't think he's gonna be sacked. I think he's gonna resign in the summer.
It's a question because I don't think Conte's not gonna resign right now because he wants to see out the end of his contract. Then he gets more money, I believe. But with Levy, of course, it's the decision about is it the right time to sack Conte, and I think based on the general consensus of Spurs fan, I think a lot of Spurs fans think this is the end of Conte at Spurs. It hasn't worked out this season. He's had personal issues, and have kind of transpired over to the squad. So it's kind of meant it's been a problem for Spurs this season. We're out of the League Cup. We're out of the FA Cup. We're playing in the Champions League on Wednesday, but no one's optimistic about that. So it's going to be a very interesting next couple of weeks.
Very interesting, yes.
But that's it for our reactions to Tottenham's 1-0 loss to Wolves at Molineux in the Premier League. If you enjoyed, make sure you smash the subscribe button, hit the like button if you want to see more Tottenham content. And until next time,
come on, you Spurs!